What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, I'm going to be showing you a title called Realms of Magic. This is a title that kind of fashions itself to sort of be a combination hybrid between something like Skyrim, something like Diablo, and also Terraria, as obviously evidenced by the graphics. And so if you were ever looking for a Terraria clone that was effectively tacked out to be an RPG to the point that it kind of like overcomes that designator, this is actually a pretty good game to look at. I skipped out on it a long time ago because it felt like it wasn't quite distinct yet enough from Terraria, but the developers just released what they have called the final patch for this game so that they can move on to the sequel. So I figured now would be the time to get like a couple hours in, 3 or 4 hours of Realms of Magic, see if the game is pretty cool, see if it's something you wanted to add to your wish list or pass on, and if it was, there will be a link for you down below in the description in case you wanted to investigate further. But up until then, I figured it was about time that we gave the game some coverage here on the Nerd Castle. Down there, you'll also find a link to my Twitch stream and my Discord. I make a lot more content over on Twitch than I do over here. You're more than welcome to join me over there for a little bit of... Usually what I do is I follow up the games that I put on YouTube with long Twitch streams so that you can kind of like really dig in if you want that old LP style of like 6 hours of, you know, non-stop gameplay to figure out whether or not a game is something you want to play. And so that's the place to do it. But for right now, let's dive on in. We got about 25 or 35 minutes to kill. Let's play the game. So this is Realms of Magic, and as I mentioned earlier, it's a hybrid of a number of different types of game, but at its core, it's an open-world RPG that's trying to hybridize some of the progressive ideas from Terraria into an overall open world, a lot like what Morrowind or Skyrim would have. This game has all of the stuff you would expect from a game like that, too. It's got the open world map right here, and every single one of these cells is fully investigatable. Some of them are dungeons, some of them are towns. The towns are full to the brim with quests. Most of them are just like collection or harvesting quests, however. A lot of the quests, every single town has one major quest line that's you investigating something like a murder or some kind of intrigue, or like getting the guard ready to fight against a bandit invasion. And so there is a major storyline for every single town. As of right now, I've cleared the entire first area. I've done every single dungeon except for one in the first area, and so I figured let's go ahead and check that on out. Now, the game does have a progression method where you have to finish the main storyline of each of these towns before it will unlock the next chunk of the map. Some people may or may not like that. You may not stumble into that, I think was the biggest thing, is that like I kind of accidentally did a quest over here that unlocked this chunk of the map, and that's when it clicked for me like, oh, you've got to do like the main storyline in each town, and then it goes and it uncovers like a new area that has like a new tier of resources, has new rare spawns, stuff like that you can go and fight with. Since I'm a bit of a completionist, let's go ahead and let's do the Grimstone Ruins, and let's see what's waiting for us over here and what's going to get us into trouble. I was sort of hoping that this weather would actually piss off a little bit, because the weather is putting kind of like this gamma filter over the top of everything that's making the game look a lot worse than it actually is. It's a good-looking game, actually. For a game that's kind of bald-facedly aping Terraria's style, it is a game that does have a lot of little details. Every single piece of armor you find goes onto your character. Every single weapon looks different, and man, are there a lot of varieties of different armors. I think just in the first tier, there was like 7 or 8 or 9 different armor sets. And so you're not just going to like work your way through the game just going like tin to copper to bronze to iron. There are rare spawn things that like every time you kill a bandit, for example, all of the tier 1 bandits have a set called like the rogue set. And you can just get that. It has different stats than anything else that you can craft. If you fight with the troglodytes that live down beneath the soil in the tier 1 areas, they drop the brute set. There are necromancers and mages and things like that that will drop the initiates cultist set. There are loads and loads and loads of sets that have different stats in this game and all do different things. And if you're a completionist like me, you're going to want to farm all the zones in order to get all those things and put them on like sort of like tasteful, I guess, armor dummies or like weapon dummies. I don't know. Do you guys do the same thing? I swear to God, whenever I play anything like Minecraft or Terraria or any of those types of games right there, what I always end up doing is I have like an entire hall that's just full of like dummies that just have all the different armor sets that I've worn and found throughout the game inside of them as sort of like a cool display. It looks like the Grimstone Ruins actually may have at some point been a dwarven ruin. This game does have character creation. You do get to pick a race. There's everything from elves to humans to dwarves, whatever you might like. I went with dwarves, obviously, because dwarves are factually the superior choice in any fantasy game. Picking anything else is folly. I come into games like this to dig deep and to dig greedily, but I guess other people might have different motivations. Why would you be investigating these locations over here? Why would you come to them? Like, why would you bother? Well, these locations tend to be like principal adventuring locations where you can pick up a lot of loot, and there's sort of like this idea that the game has of secrets. So all of the protected zones, that is to say there are a bunch of zones in this game that you're not allowed to actually like build anything inside of. Instead, they're just kind of like locked, and they're adventuring zones where you're looking for secrets and you're looking for things that are hidden in the walls. Like that guy right there, for example. I don't know if I can dig over here, but it looks like there is definitely a secret inside the ground right there, and now we would have to figure out how we get to it. Every single one of these protected adventuring non-build zones has a number of secrets and a number of bosses inside of it. The secrets will give you a piece of loot called a mysterious essence. If you have enough mysterious essences, you can combine them with powerful essences, which you get from the bosses that are inside of these adventuring zones, and it will allow you to actually manufacture talent points for yourself that you can use inside of this game's copiously large talent trees. Now, there's a talent tree for everything inside of this game. There's a heavy weapons tree, there's a light weapons tree. Since I wanted to be a spearman, I decided to go with the light weapons tree because I really like lances and spears just personally. There's a heavy armor tree. This tree will have all kinds of random things inside of it that make you harder to kill. There's a pyromancy tree, there's a frostmancy tree, there's a nature kind of druidic tree that has things like summons and kind of like wolves and things you can summon to protect you. It's got a necromancy tree, which kind of does the same thing. I'll be really honest with you, I was really tempted to do necromancy because if there's one thing that I really like, it's being able to summon a ton of skeletons to do my bidding, but you know, for right now, haven't gotten around to it yet. The good news is you're not locked into any sort of playstyle. You can make whatever kind of character that you want to make, and every character can have every single skill in the game. You just kind of got to like level up far enough to get it, or at least so I would think. I'm like level 7 or 8 right now. I haven't noticed any stopgap in what I'm allowed to learn and what I'm allowed to do. There hasn't been anything stopping me so far, but those things may or may not exist. Man, it's troglodyte had a chin on him. Oh, he was a rare spawn. Gotcha. Normally the rare spawns have kind of like a different thing going on. It looks like he had a sword, a powerful essence, and it looks like he had the Brute's leg guards, those things that I was talking about earlier. As you can see, when you find these little pieces of loot, they all have different stat arrays. That matters. So like if you're trying to boost up your health, or you're trying to be tanky, you're going to want to equip different armor than somebody that's trying to be fast and have like infinite stamina so that they can non-stop combo. Combat in this game is a little bit clunky. I do think it's a little bit slow, and it's a little bit loping, but it's perfectly fine and utilitarian for what the game is going for. You also get activatable skills that you could put on your hotbar, or like other weapons that you can put up inside of here, just in case that's your jam. For now, we'll take our loot from down on in here, and it looks like we've got some health potions, which is good. I'm going to loot all these animals. You can bury them. I don't think it does anything. I don't know if that was like a placeholder for sort of like a holy magic tree that never ended up happening, or like what. It looks like can I put a platform in a protected zone? I cannot put a platform in a protected zone, but it looks like I can crawl down on the other side via a ladder. There are occasionally locations that you can dig inside these protected zones. They will be kind of hard to see and identify, but they are there. Looks like I can loop over to the other side. And is there anything over? Wow, it said there was like a bunch of secrets inside of here, but I haven't seen any of them. So I'm not exactly sure where they might be. I also don't know how to get after the secret that was over on this right-hand side either. There's got to be kind of like a diggable surface would be my guess, but it's not letting me do it right here. So, there it is right there. There's a mud pit on that side. So on protected maps, you can dig things like mud and like slop and like sand, but you can't do like dirt and other stuff. It takes some getting used to. It looks like inside of here we got the Jester's Hat, which is a tier 1 mage's piece of equipment that increases like your mana regeneration and all that kind of fun stuff, a healing potion, and a scroll of trading. In this game, there are a bunch of different skills Here they are. They all level up exactly how you would expect from a game like this. So, for example, if you mine a lot, you're going to level up your mining. And every single one of these is appropriately tooltipped to show you exactly what you're getting out of all of these things. In some cases, with stuff like smelting or blacksmithing, it's going to be fairly obvious. You're going to unlock the next tier of stuff that you're going to be able to craft to move up the tier list and get stronger to go fight enemy combatants that are much more gnarly than what you currently are. For other things, it might be a little bit more esoteric. So, for example, for mining right here, this flatly just makes you mine faster and also makes your pick hit harder multiplicatively with whatever tier of pick that you're currently using in order to get the job done. Trading makes it so that you get better deals on the stuff that you're trying to buy and sell, so on and so forth. Now, in the service of all of these things, this game is kind of actually interesting, because you don't particularly need to build a base in this game. I think that base building is one of those things that's sort of like endemic to a Terraria-style game, where everybody expects that you're just going to have to like build a base at some point. In this game, not so much. You can build a base if you want to, and in fact, you can build your own village, and you can find wanderers out on, like, the random maps out here in, like, the woods and out in the plains and whatnot. You can find random wanderers that have different professions, and you can have them come back to your village and do certain types of work. I haven't gotten to that part of the game yet because it's quite, like, labor-intensive, and if you go back to my original base over here that I've been building for the last hour or two, you can find that I have like a shaft over here that you can go down to, and I go down there for all my mining stuff. I've got the beginnings of my house over here. It's unfortunately nighttime, so you guys are going to have to like squint real hard. But I do have my house over here with a couple workbenches and things that I've placed inside of it. I'm digging a proper dwarf hole over here in the ground that I'm going to expand downwards with different layers and kind of like a stairwell in between all these areas where we live underground. You can get people to come live here. You can fill it out with everything you can do in Terraria. You can do in this game. You can fill it out with people that have like shops and they have different trade skills that they can help you with things. We've got ourselves our own workbenches that we can work on over here, and there's an enormous amount. This game has had a lot of post-release, I guess, kind of like support. There's a tremendous amount of like decorative items, functional items, random items that you can have around your house to decorate and make things look good. So if you're worried that this game will not have those things, it does indeed. If you're the kind of person that likes to roost or you like to nest a little bit, this is a game that's definitely got you covered. The downside there is that obviously that's going to bring you into the super farmy gameplay where you're underground and chopping trees all the time and stuff like that. And so I've only just gotten started with the base building as of right now, and I've only collected one guy, and I haven't found like a bench or anything that I can attach him to make him go to work just yet, but I've been figuring that because it says specifically that he's a lumberjack, that at some point I'm going to be able to attach him to like a craft bench or something, and he's going to generate resources for me in order to make the farm a little less severe, because it does seem like intentionally you don't get a lot of yields off of things like trees. It seems to me like there's going to be some kind of automation that we're going to be playing around with in the future. For right now, I am up in this area right here, kind of questing, sort of adventuring, looking around, seeing what's in the area and what's rocking. I haven't really found anything too interesting that I wanted to look into just yet, but I did find the main storyline of Splinterville. You don't necessarily... Actually, I take back, I redact what I said earlier. You don't necessarily need to, I guess, do the quest in the previous town in order to unlock the next area. I completely and totally forgot, but while you're adventuring, when you defeat kind of like iconic enemies or you find treasure chests, you will occasionally get these things called a shard of a map. The shard of the map, if you get enough of them, you can combine them, and it will allow you to bypass into the next tier of zone. I forgot about that. There's a mole rat over here. I think the mole rat's the elite version of the rat. I don't know what he's doing on the surface, but apparently I've poisoned him, I guess? I don't know how I poisoned him. Is he regenerating, maybe? Or did he leash? Oh, maybe he leashed and he's now regenerating. It's hard to tell from the tooltip. His health doesn't seem to be getting worse. Oh, there we go. The color of their name, that determines where their health is at. So they start out like yellow, and when the name starts to go red, that's when they fall over and die. This game does have a block and parry system if you're into that sort of thing, so there is like an attempt to introduce skill-based gameplay here. However, I do want to train some magic or something so that I can start like shooting bolts at enemies like range style rather than anything else. Oh, good, look at that, a little festive punji pit right next to their house that they've got set up. What's going on? Ooh, yeah, that's a big gnarly pig right there. If I come down in here, am I going to be able to get out? I'm not. So if I go down in here, I am locked into the adventure. Okay, let's go fight the giant pig. Ow, giant pig was a mistake, maybe. Okay, so giant pig's got a little bit of a read to him. I'm going to let him run around for a second, and when he charges me, there we go. I'm not going to get greedy because I want to get this timing down. Ow, got me again right there. Okay, let's go to the healing potion real quick. Luckily, I've got myself nice and stocked up. He is hitting the traps, though, which is really nice. However, with him zooming around like this, it is getting difficult. It's because he does, like, a couple little steps after he gets done with the charge, which means that I can't really, like, combo on him. Honestly, I think if we sit here long enough, he'll kill himself. Health is looking like it's getting low, so we may drop him. There we go. He's now down, and I got my first boar pelt, which is worth quite a bit more money. This game does have, like, an economy, and so, like, honestly, I don't even know if you really need to interact with a lot of the crafting systems or anything. Oh, it looks like that opens from below, so maybe I came down in a wrong spot right here. Interesting. I don't know how I'm going to get out of here then. I don't think I can jump out. I think I'm going to have to fast travel to a different zone then back. Having fast traveled back, you no doubt noticed that I've been swapping between sets. This game actually has a nice little quality of life thing that I really, really like. Where I'm sure Terraria has this as well. I just haven't played Terraria since like the 1.0 came out. But it's got like a universal switching mode where it's just whatever your mouse is on, it will use the harvesting tool that harvests that thing. It's a very, very nice feature. I'm sure that Terraria has like a smart mining as well or something like that. But it surprised me. It was a nice little feature that I wanted to play around with a little bit more. Let's go ahead and look around over here. I'm going to try... Oh my god. What a headache. Yeah, this place is going to be a little bit of a problem, isn't it? But there is a treasure chest down in here, and it counted as a secret. Looks like we got a big woodcutting scroll right there, which is nice. Okay. We can also open up that gate right there, which I'm sure was locked from the other side. We've got a troglodyte over here. I find that fighting troglodytes is as easy as learning to scooch a little bit. And you will want to learn that scooch because the higher level troglodytes... they've got themselves kind of like a poison they put on you when they hit you, and man, it'll drain out your health quick. Now, you no doubt saw that I'm looting food every now and again, and there are food icons on the screen. This game does incorporate survival elements. You can't just run around not feeding yourself, adventuring willy-nilly. One of the reasons I built my base on that other tile that I was on is because it actually had... a natural spring available that I could drink out of, and it just kind of like made my life easier for finding water without having to go back to a village and kind of fill up water bottles and stuff like that to adventure. However, the food is very, very low maintenance, in case you were wondering. If you have objects on you that count as food or water, you put them into a slot and your character will just auto-eat and auto-drink them whenever his thresholds get down to like 30%. So if you want to completely ignore the survival mechanics, it's about as easy as going to your character sheet, and then you can just slot in like 10 bottles of water over here, 20 rats on a stick, and then your character will just eat that stuff. Your inventory is expandable by getting more bags, kind of like World of Warcraft style, which will give you extra tabs. I do wish there was like a unified way to look at all of my tabs. So I wish that it didn't have like 5 different tabs. I wish this just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I had everything all in one space. But so far I haven't figured out a way to do that. If it exists, I apologize. But, you know, it's a thing that I've looked for and haven't been able to find. And we've got a bunch of leather, some rabbit pelts down in here. We did find one of the secrets, and we figured out how to open that hatch from the bottom right there. I'm not exactly sure why I couldn't open it from the top, in all honesty, but there's our escape vector. I actually don't know if these protected zones are procedural like everywhere else. They may be, and they might be assembled from like little bits and pieces. I don't know. It does say that there's a powerful enemy here that I haven't quite gotten to yet. And man, it would figure, dude, if it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have no luck whatsoever. Oh. I think it's this guy right here. He looks kind of tough. Luckily, my backpedal style is really, really taking care of him right now. Oh, that wasn't the powerful guy. as I was saying, if it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. The game does have different weather systems. It does have like fog and sun and stuff like that. Unfortunately, you guys have got to deal with the fact that all of my adventures are going to be washed out today because I haven't seen this weather system at all until the moment that I started recording and I needed visual fidelity. So, like, obviously that's the way my luck works out as a content creator. It does look like there's more things here, so it looks like these wood elves were living inside this little hut. That doesn't count as a secret, though, so we're still missing a lot of secrets. And we're still missing, apparently, a really powerful bad guy in here. I checked, and it said that we have not slain the iconic enemy that's at this location yet. So I figure he's out. I got smacked. All right, he's got to be around somewhere. Stick him in the butt and get on out of here. We got a little bit of flax off of him. That's good. That's going to be for tier 2 cloth. I'm not a caster, so I haven't been using robes or anything else like that. But that guy's got an axe that looked kind of... Oh, my God. With the jumping strike, though, bro. Okay. Don't like it when you jump strike me like that. The enemies do try to mix it up. Like, different enemies do seem to have, like, different gap-closing strategies. Some of them do, like, lunges. Some of them do charges. Combat in this game, like I said, though, is, like, kind of clunky and utilitarian. It's there because it needs to be there in order to have, like, the full experience. But if you're expecting anything Souls-like or interesting along those lines, you're not going to find it here. The fox, I don't know if I can tame that. There is animal taming in this game. There is animal feed. I know that the game has prompted me to feed animals and whatnot when I'm near things like chickens. So it's possible that that little fox right there might be tameable or something. Got a little bit of money inside of there. Looks like we have a digging spot right here. So let's go ahead and dig that out. You do get a torch in this game, by the way, if you wanted to know how dark this game is at night. There you go. It's how dark the game is at night. I don't know if you ever get an upgraded torch. It looks like you do. So I'm guessing that there's other torches and lanterns and things that you can get that throw a bigger light radius. I just haven't found them yet. It looks like this guy has some kind of, like, devil shrine down in his basement. All right, it's good to have a hobby, man. Sometimes you got to put it together. We've got the Chieftain's Helmet. It gives us health, stamina, health regeneration, stamina regeneration. That's pretty good. I'll probably put that on my head face. Yeah, and everything's got its own graphics, too, which is really, really nice. And because I think a lot of the equipment in this game is kind of commensurate or like a side grade from other equipment, the cool thing is you're going to end up with kind of like a mishmash of gear. But because the game has sort of like a unified art style, it all kind of like blends together. Like normally in a game like this, if you wear mixed sets, you look like a disgusting exploded rainbow Skittle bag of terrible tackiness. And for someone like me that really, really cares about appearances, I kind of like the fact that I've always sort of looked cool in this game. Wow, that guy's got a big old lunge. Okay, let's see if we can take out his little buddies first, I guess. Oh my God. Okay, we are getting styled on right now. Let's go ahead and heal up real fast, because I honestly don't know what happens when you die in this game. I don't know if it's like soft core, medium core, whatever core, but I haven't died yet in this game, and so I'd prefer to keep it that way. This snow wolf right here is a bit of a drama queen. Can I block him at least? It does look like I can block him a little bit. Where are the rest of the wolves at? Yeah, it's going to take some stamina, but I can block him. So that's good. But he's the only one that seems to have kind of like an exacerbated lunge, unlike the rest of these wolves. And so, like, I think I can just bat kite these guys for a little while. Did I kill one right there? Oh, I didn't get one right there. Okay. So you going to try to jump in on me? Yeah, I was going to say, those ones have a shorter lunge. Snow Wolf's starting to take damage over there. Let me get some stamina back. Stamina restored, so we're looking good. The worst part is I'm not even doing this for like a quest or anything. I'm just over here adventuring. This game is full and like chock-a-block with quests. Like seriously, there's a lot of quests in this game. If you're trying to do quests, this game has quests. And the quests are actually something that you're gonna want to do. Almost every single quest in this game rewards you with a stat scroll that just permanently increases your stats. Like that's it. Your stats just get better forever. You just get like 5 more HP or like 8 more stamina or something like that. Is he spawning the wolves? It feels like maybe he's spawning the wolves. This may be a fight that I have to stand my ground with, and he might be resetting a little bit each time I fall back. It's kind of hard to say. Yeah, he is. He's summoning more wolves. Okay. Good to know. Unfortunately, when they're kind of like stacked up like this, really bad time for an autosave. Aw, dude. The weird part is the autosave that I absolutely hated and ultimately got me killed kind of ironically put me back into it right in the middle of the combat where I was. I would maybe disable autosaves during combat. That seems like a good way to soft lock yourself. The good news is the game keeps like your last 10 autosaves, so I guess it's a non-factor. But I think these wolves may not be winnable here. We may not be strong enough. At the bare minimum, my potions are not strong enough. One feature that I very much enjoy about this game is that there's no gear durability. So if gear durability for you is your bane, like it is for me, like I cannot stand gear durability in games like this. It just drives me up a wall. I don't like it one tiny bit when I've got to deal with gear durability. I don't know if he's... Oh, there we go. I was going to say, dude, I couldn't tell if he was healing every time he did this, but this is turning into like the fight of a century right here. We've been duking it up with this guy for a while. I also don't know if like his summons are going to vanish when I kill him. This is like the principal damage dealing time right here when they're not stacked up. There we go. We got him. Finally, dude. That was actually one of the gnarlier enemies that I've fought so far. That guy, I haven't had too many troubles with a lot of enemies in the game so far. Ooh, an elven saber, huh? Expensive spaulders. They look like they're for a mage. Cool. All right. Do I have enough of the thingies to make a scroll of knowledge? I need 2 more chests. So if I get 2 more of these blue ones out of a chest, I can make a scroll of knowledge and give myself an extra talent point, which would be nice. Oh, thank God, dude. We did level up. That means we get to assign a point. I've mostly been working on making my combat more efficient because when you start out in the game, you're only going to be able to swing your weapon like 3 times before you're out of stamina. That's just the way that it goes. I do think it's kind of like a cool idea to maybe get like some spells. I think maybe doing like a Death Knight thing might work because it seems like they have a debuff that makes you deal more physical damage. It looks like I could also get like an ice barrier or like an ice spike. I do like ice. I guess I could have a dog too. Who doesn't love having a dog? Let's have a dog. Hey! Do I only get the one dog? It looks like he lasts for about 30 or 40 seconds. Still pretty cool. I've got my own... I mean, we defeated wolves to get wolves. Who doesn't like that idea? But yeah, Realms of Magic, dude, I've actually been really impressed with this game. If you're, like, okay with the fact... Ooh, there's an archdruid down there, huh? Scary. If you're okay with the fact that the game is, like, bald-facedly inspired by Terraria, and you could get through that, though... Like, I personally think the game brings enough to the table when it comes to its procedural. Like, every single one of these squares, you can dig down to bedrock in. You know what I mean? Like, I can just go to one of these right here. I can just peace out right now, and you can just dig downwards. I did it for like an hour on the map that my base is built on top of, and it just keeps going down there. And every single one of these zones has its own, like, backgrounds, has its own things going on, has its own armor, has its own tier. There's different types of trees. There's different type of bandits. Apparently, wood elves are the big enemy for Tier 2, from what it looks like. On the first map, it was bandits. And it looks like they drop spoulders as well that are better than the ones that I currently have on. So we'll go ahead and equip those real fast, and now my character looks even cooler. Like, it's a cool game where a lot of the Terraria things are, like, optional, and you can do them if you want, but you can also kind of be successful in this game just by, like, adventuring and doing your own thing. There's no shortage to the amount of random Diablo loot and things that you're going to get along the way while you play the title. And so, like, I think they've got a really good mix here of sort of like an open world RPG and Terraria style progression treadmill mining Minecraft mechanics. Like, I think they've done a really good job with it. And as of right now, because of the fall sale, this game is $10. And I'd be almost guaranteeing you this game sucked up like 4 or 5 hours of my life in preparation for this video. Normally, when playing games, for like a video here on the channel, it's a job. You got to sit down and knuckle down and do it. And like, yeah, it's a fun job, but sometimes you're going to end up playing a game you don't want to play for 5 or 6 hours. It's just not to your taste. It's still a good game, but you got to muscle through and just kind of be bored for that 4 or 5 hours because the game doesn't match up with your personality, but it's still a fine quality game for someone that it does match up with their personality. This was not one of those games. My 4 hours disappeared very, very rapidly in preparation for this video. So I think it's safe to say that I enjoyed it. It's safe to say that I give it a thumbs up. If you're okay with the graphical Terraria stylings and that doesn't bother you, then everything else here is really, really rad. And there is a lot of content for you to participate in, both like programmed and also procedural. There's a lot of it. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what is worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were checking out Realms of Magic, which is one of those RPGs that I guess I just never got around to checking out, and now I regret it. My only real complaint about the game is that I think the loss of like a mount slot and of the trinkets from Terraria, I think the trinkets were hands down the best part about Terraria. So like the double jump trinkets, the ones that allowed you to levitate, you know, the jetpacks, the ones that allowed you to pick up speed, you know, while you were running, the ones that allowed you to do all kinds of various things. That's the one thing this game is missing, and I think it's the poorer for it. But other than that, I think this game is fantastic. It's awesome. And it's entirely possible that a lot of those things are incorporated through the talent tree. You know, maybe the frost tree has like a double jump down here or something like that it gives you, and maybe that's why it doesn't have it. I don't know. I'm almost level 10, but I'm not quite there yet. I'm level 8 after 4 hours, and so I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out with me. I think this game is great. I give it a thumbs up, especially at $10 if you can snag it during the autumn sale. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for being here, folks.